She rose above limits, set not only by the sky, but by society itself. A daring spirit chasing horizons others only dreamed of, she became a symbol of possibility. But her boldest journey ended not with applause, with questions, vanishing into history, leaving behind a legend wrapped in mystery. This is Killer Hangover Podcast.
Welcome to Killer Hangover, the show where cocktails lift off, mysteries never land, and legends vanish into thin air. On this episode, we're chatting all things Amelia Earhart. Beth takes you into the life of the fearless aviator, while I dive into some of the endless theories about her mysterious disappearance. I'm Bettina, your skeptical co pilot, keeping our theories grounded while Beth takes off.
I'm Beth, mystery seeker, history navigator, and always chasing stories that vanish into thin air. I am very excited about this episode.
I am too.
I have been obsessed with Amelia Earhart, I think, since I gave my very first classroom presentation in, was that the third grade or the fourth grade? I think it was the third grade, where I dressed like her, had the whole board, and I learned all about her. You took me to Atchison and showed me her birth house and like all this kind of stuff. And I just always just been very fascinated. And I think, the whole fact that like she disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still a weirdo and love that stuff.
The mystery behind it. Well, you weren't the only one.
Yeah, this is true. I'm gonna apologize right now. This is probably gonna be a very long episode. We've had some complaints that people don't like us not releasing an episode every week. So this might be a good episode where you can listen to half of it, pause it, and kick up the other half next week.
I don't know about you, Beth, but with my theories, I was just like, okay, this is going to be a 10-minute thing.
No.
But the more you dig into
No.
her life and everything else,
Well, it didn't help that
like,
you were like done, and I go, Mom, like 2 days ago, Mom,
you watch this.
please tell me you are covering this theory because holy cow. And I send her something and she goes, I'm kind of touching on this, but I'll watch this. She texts me.
And I went,
literally, the documentary is only an hour and 20 minutes long. She texts me exactly an hour and 20 minutes later and says, wow.
Yep.
And you thought you were done.
I mean, wow. Yeah.
Oh, and I bet you there's probably 100 other documentaries and other things out there that we could really.
I was like, if she's sending me something else, I'm not going to watch it because I just don't have the time.
These are not rabbit holes. These are rabbit burrows. We are going to be. We're going to try not to dive in, but we might touch on
craziness.
No, I thought this would be. We thought this would be a really fun episode to really. I don't know. I hope it's fun.
I think it is. We talked about it on our way to Atchison yesterday.
Yes, we went to Atchison yesterday. Visited a few Amelia Earhart sites.
Yep.
And things.
Got some pictures.
Those some people might remember, some people don't. I don't know. I have a very, what is it called? We Googled this, but I have a fear of airplanes. Not flying on airplanes, but just like
mega something phobia. She's afraid of big things like cruise ships and big airplanes and helicopters and
yeah, like walking near them.
But not skyscrapers or anything like that.
No,
it's things that move. Big things that move.
My husband is making a joke right now. We know he is. No, I mean, even when we were scuba diving and there was like an airplane under the water.
Well, that's
when
creepy.
We were scuba diving.
That's just creepy.
I mean, that I almost like, I've passed out at the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. Literally walked in. They have like a stealth plane hanging like right in the lobby.
Cool. It's so cool.
And I was like, oh, I'm feeling a little done. Like just passed out. And I was like, okay, maybe we didn't eat enough or I didn't know why that happened. So then we went and visited my uncle who was a pilot and over spring break and I was in college and he took us around some planes and I couldn't like physically it was weird. I-
We,
So whenever we fly and they make us like walk on the tarmac
mm-hmm.
to get to the plane, Alex will literally like guard me from looking at anything because I get like the shakes, I get lightheaded. Like it, I don't, it's bizarre. I don't like it at all. They freak me out.
Bizarre, and I'm just question why.
I think I was a pilot in another life.
Not for long.
No, something happened. Maybe I was Amelia Earhart.
Mystery done. Never mind.
Mom said that she was going to keep our theories grounded while Beth takes off. There we go. There's theory number one. I don't know how that'd be a theory of how she vanished.
It wasn't. We're going to move on. So I was in charge of the cocktail,
Yes, yes, you were.
and you will see how this ties in later. But we have two different sakis here. So I don't know what they are. This will be my first time tasting it too.
Oh no. Well, then you're going to be the first
I just
person.
no. I went to the liquor store and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get sake. That'll be perfect." And then they didn't have like sake sitting there. So I said, "Oh, this looks interesting. It's peach flavor." Peach flavor. I don't know how to say it. Jinro.
Don't
Yinro.
try. Don't try.
I'm not going to, and I can't read the writing. I'm so sorry. So we're gonna try that first. It is imported, and it's the clear one.
Oh, yes, because she has two here. Two.
Cheers on the clear one.
Oh gosh.
This is peach.
Do I have to drink the whole thing? Can I just sip it?
Mhm.
Okay, that's actually tasty.
It is
That's
peachy.
not bad. It's peachy. That's very good, actually.
It's,
It reminds me of my peach Alani that I live on daily. Go on. Next one.
okay.
This one I'm afraid of. There's like things floating in this one.
There are there are things this I got this. Okay, this is wamishu. It's interesting, very big jar thing. And
Give it to me.
well,
Give it to
just a
me.
minute.
Oh, I want to
It's a
show.
traditional dessert made from the umi fruit.
What's an umi fruit?
It's those things floating in
Oh,
here. And it's enjoyed on the rocks or mixed with dry sparkling wine. And I think the dry sparkling wine would be a really good idea, but I couldn't read the top when I got it. So there you go.
here. YouTube. Am I even in the camera?
Can you see the fruit floating? That would be umi flute.
Umi flute? That'd be umi flute.
UME. I think I'm saying it right. Umi. Umi.
Mm.
Sure.
Okay,
I'm reading
here's
it.
on the
Okay.
gold one.
Okay.
I'm afraid of this
Well,
one.
I'm at you.
No. Okay. More tart.
It's
Kind of
definitely
tastes like apple juice.
it has a fruity taste, but it's kind
Not
of
really. It's like a tarty. It's
I
a
think
tarty taste.
I think it's earthy.
It tastes like apple juice.
Tastes like earthy apple juice. Apples that
Organic apple
dropped
juice.
apples that dropped on their
Sugar-free, sugar-free organic apple juice.
Yep, that's what it tastes like.
It tastes like that boxed apple juice that my kids look at me and go, "Oh, I don't like that apple juice because it has like no added sugars and like none of that crap." No,
That's fun.
this is a fun idea.
I thought I'm like, oh man, I'm so anxious to try this.
No, that's so different than what we've ever done. So
I thought so. Thank you. And you'll see how it ties in. It wasn't just like I'm going to the liquor store and getting sake.
It is you, though. It'll loosely tie in somehow. Okay.
You get to start, and I'm just going to sit back and
I'm
sit my
afraid.
wamishu.
I'm afraid to move my laptop a little closer, but okay. Okay. I read this quote. I read this quote to Alex in the car because I said, I just loved this quote so much. I want to read it to you. So it goes, never do things others can do and will do if there are things others cannot do and will not do. And he said, can you read that to me again slower? I said, okay, yes. I'm
Do
thinking
not.
he really wants to grasp this like I did because it just touched me. Never do things others can do and will do if there are things others cannot do and will not do.
I totally get it. That's a good thing.
Alex goes, that's a very nice, confusing quote. It sounds very Michael Scottish. Not Scottish, but Michael Scott
Scott.
like. There we go. No, I liked that. This is words from someone who made it her mission to accomplish things that others could not and had not ever done. These words are now inspiring others in their search in solving her mystery. Because finding Amelia Earhart is something no one has been able to achieve. Now, we've all heard the story of her disappearance, but the story of who Amelia was and what she accomplished is fascinating and groundbreaking in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty ironic that she has gained her popularity over 87 years later because of her mystery behind her disappearance, when it is her role in inspiring women and the path she paved in aviation and exploring was just as wowing. Is that a word?
Well, it is now.
Yes. How much alcohol is in sake?
And you want me to tell you?
No, no, you'll take forever finding your glasses and
Well, I had two. This is 13%.
this is 14.6%.
That's not much.
Nah. She was an explorer, a thrill seeker from the very beginning. And here is her story. Dun. By the way, Earhart, I just find that.
Oh, I know. When I was typing it up, I was like, wait, just a minute. That is so cool.
I know. It's like, I don't know.
I don't think I had realized it because it's spelled different.
Right.
But then I was like, air. Oh my gosh.
Earhart. Earhart. Earhart.
Oh my gosh.
Amelia Earhart was born in Atchison, Kansas on July 24th, 1897 to Edwin Stanton Earhart and Amy Otis Earhart. We were just at her birth house where she was born. It's actually her grandmother's home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful. They've done
Oh
a very, that whole street is gorgeous. I mean, it's a private street, they're private homes. But if you're going to this museum that's in this house,
mm-hmm.
which is open to the public and closes at 3:30, so don't
So,
go
yeah.
at 3:20 like we did. But
But it overlooks the Missouri River.
River.
It's on the bluff there. It is just beautiful.
And
It
all those
really
homes
is.
are just so, their yards are maintained so beautifully. These older homes, but they are just
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous. And it, I don't know about you, I didn't think they matched the other homes in Atchison. A lot of the other homes in Atchison are very Victorian looking. You know, you have the Gothic like homes, you have the
Mm-hmm.
Victorian
Mm-hmm.
homes, you have the gargoyle house. Like they're very brick.
These are
These
more
almost like
colonial.
colonial,
Mm-hmm.
like um not cottages, but I don't know how to, I don't know. They were very colonial
Mm-hmm.
looking. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. But these homes, you still have leading up to this house. Well, a lot of Atchison is the brick paved roads are
Mm-hmm.
still there.
Yep.
Uh, you have the, I don't know what they're called, but those sticks in the ground that the horses used to get hooked up to. Hitching posts. I knew. See, I knew it was coming. It was coming to my brain. You have those that kind of litter, not litter
Scattered.
the streets.
Scattered.
They litter the streets.
They're scattered in different areas. You'll find one just standing there.
So we've chatted about Atchison before because both of us attended the local college there.
Benedicting.
And Atchison is literally, we say it all the time, but I think it is one of the most haunted cities in America. I will get into my business venture on another episode. This one's going to be long enough, but hit me up. I'm accepting donations. I have a great idea.
Lots of donations. Again, pull down to the ground.
Just don't hate on my idea. It's a brilliant idea.
I'm not hating.
We've covered Atchison actually in a couple episodes before. We did the Haunted McIntyre Villa in episode 93, and it's also the home of the Sally House. We've not covered the Sally House yet. It's a sensitive subject. It's a scary subject. I don't know. There's a lot of. I'm not ready for something to follow me home yet. So that one will take a little while, I think. But anyway, back to Amelia. Atchison sits right off the Missouri River, as we said, and it was the original main stop of the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe Railway. And every time I say that, I think of
You
Judy
want to sing?
Garland. Amelia's mother was a homemaker, and her father was a railroad attorney. He was a claims agent for the railroad. And this job required a lot of traveling. So in her early childhood, she lived in several different towns. She moved a lot her whole life. So Atchison was kind of home base in the summertime. She'd go and stay with her grandmother there. Yes, she was born there, but she didn't live there. She would only come and stay with her grandma during the summers. She and her sister. I'm totally getting off my notes here, but yeah.
And she had a sister.
She did. Yes, I will get there. Her name is Muriel. She was the younger sister. So yes, the two girls spent most of their childhood in Atchison, Kansas at their grandparents' home. From an early age, Amelia recognized the differences society put between boys and girls. Her grandmother, also named Amelia, being a they were pretty wealthy. And Amelia's grandfather, Alfred Otis, he was a retired U.S. District Court judge.
Oh, okay.
And the president of the Atchison Savings Bank. So they were pretty wealthy.
Yeah.
Amelia's grandmother prompted Amelia and Muriel to be very ladylike, I think because of their financial status in Atchison. Dress like a lady, be nice and clean, and act very polite. That did not float Amelia's boat.
It didn't look.
Or plain, whatever you want to say. That did not work for her. Amelia was a very explorative.
No, not explorative. She liked to explore.
She was a very adventurous, rebellious little girl, very busy, always searching for a new game to play, a new thing to climb, a new place to explore.
Was she like a tomboy?
Yes, I definitely.
Seems like
hopping fences, wanting to learn and play sports specifically. She really wanted to play with the boys and learn how to play basketball. She really liked basketball.
She was really tall, so she probably would have been really good at it.
Yes. And then during the winters, she would even use a boys' sled to go down 2nd Avenue head first.
That's right.
Like the boys down the hill.
May I say that 2nd Avenue goes like this?
And those steep. That are just listening, it is straight down.
Oh my gosh, it's so steep.
And I used to running down it. And then
stumbling up.
Well, I wasn't drunk. It was my workout for the day. But I would run down it, go to the tanning salon down there, tan, walk up the hill with my girlfriend, just chatting. But then we would start to run right on the corner of where the baseball field was because, like, you know,
it looked like you were running.
My boyfriend was playing baseball, or the guy I wanted to be my boyfriend was playing baseball. He's my husband now. So, you know, it worked. Ladies, it worked. I would start to, jog and then do my cool down right out in the outfield where he was. And oh, hi. I didn't know it was practice already. Oh, hi. Fancy seeing you here.
Look at my
This is the hardest run. That 2nd Street, let me tell you. Did you know Amelia Earhart used to sled down it? Now, I loved this, but her parents were very accepting of Amelia for who she
Nice.
was.
Nice.
They never went against her tomboyish nature, and they dressed both of the girls in bloomers.
Whoa, big time.
I guess Amelia's mother was constantly patching up dresses, so she just said, "Screw it," and she put the girls' play clothes in bloomers. She just go play whatever. Amelia's father bought her footballs and even a
Wow.
rifle. They
Wow.
just, yeah,
Totally
I
supported it.
loved that. One of her favorite jobs was to shoot the rats in the barn. The sisters often played with their cousins, Toot and Catch. Those were their names. The four girls often played their own made up game they called, it's Bogie, Boggy, is what I'm assuming. They would sit in a carriage in the barn and pretend to go on all kinds of adventures, coming across so many mythical creatures and
Oh, that
places.
sounds
They created
cute.
maps of mysterious worlds that they'd visit, and they just thrived on
Oh, how
adventure.
much fun.
The sisters created their own museum. They collected bugs, katydids, praying mantises, crickets, worms. They kept them in a cage all together. And they also added their pet chameleon that their Uncle Nicey gave them. The museum did not last long. In 1904, the Earhart family took a vacation to the St. Louis World's Fair. They watched Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders perform, and Amelia rode on an elephant. She was also introduced to a new thing called a roller coaster. Her mother believed it was very dangerous to ride, but Amelia rode the Ferris wheel with her father as well. After the sisters came home from the World Fair, they decided that they had to build their own roller coaster. A neighborhood friend and their uncle, Carl Nicey, who I mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
helped build the roller coaster using wooden planks and nails, then greased the track with lard. Amelia was the first and only person to try it before it broke, and their mother made them take it down right away.
Didn't she break something? Her arm
She
or
didn't break
something?
anything, but she was very bruised. I mean, she was covered in bruises afterwards. The museum used to have like a prop of
Mm-hmm.
what it looked like or whatever and where it could have been. It's not there anymore, as you and I
Yeah.
walked around the house and saw. But yeah, I've always loved that story. Adventure and huge milestones for the world, women in particular, happened in Amelia's early life, and she watched and took part in a lot of it. She watched and celebrated when the Wright brothers first took flight in 1903, roller coasters in 1904, partaking in the World Suffrage March at the age of 16 in
Wow.
1913, celebrating the right to vote when she was 23 in 1920. With her love of learning and adventurous spirit, Amelia became very independent at a pretty young age. She was around 20. Her father started suffering with what the family referred to as daddy's sickness. It was drinking.
No.
And the family started to suffer financially. Amelia started working and, as I said, became very independent. One quote, one had to depend on oneself because even the person that you thought was most dependable, your father, could change.
Mm.
Unquote. Entering into her 20s, Amelia started to work. She worked as a telephone clerk, a stenographer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of myself for saying that. A truck driver and a photographer. It was in 1917, while visiting her sister in Toronto, that her world really changed, though. World War I was underway, and Canadian soldiers were returning home to Toronto in need of medical help. Amelia witnessed horrible injuries,
Mm.
terribly wounded men. I mean, honestly, horrors. But this did not scare her. While there in Toronto, she helped in whatever way she could. She just stepped up. She's there visiting her sister, and then she just steps up. When she returned to the United States, right away, she attended a program to become a nurse's aide.
Mm-hmm.
When she was done with her training, she returned back to Toronto
Oh.
and worked at the Spadina Military Hospital through the Red Cross First Aid. Helping the soldiers and pilots was one thing, but then one day, this is a quote from her, I did not understand it at the time, but I believe that little red airplane said something to me as it swished by. She was captivated by the planes. She would go to the Canadian airfield and just watch as the pilots flew in and flew out. A pilot purposefully flew very close to Amelia and one of her friends
Oh,
as they sat near the airfield. Her friend ran away in fear.
that would be you.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be sitting at an airfield.
No.
Maybe passed out in an airfield, but not sitting there. And Amelia didn't, she didn't move. Maybe she was scared. I don't know.
Scared to death she couldn't move.
she, she just stood there and she said she was captivated. In 1920, she started flying lessons. She would be the 16th woman in the country to receive her pilot's license.
Cool.
She could fly before she could drive a car. I thought that was pretty fun to hear, to read, to learn. So, celebrating herself on her 25th birthday, she bought herself a plane.
She must be making some money.
No, her mom actually uh, helped her buy the plane, helped finance the plane with
Oh.
her inheritance.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know about you. I name inanimate objects inanimate.
Oh, my car's jelly bean.
See, I name things. It's very Lorelai Gilmore of me, but I name my vacuum has a name, my car has a name, my coffee maker has a name. I have names for things, and she named her plane the Canary because of its bright yellow color.
Nice.
Yes, I thought so. Just 2 years after she had started her flying lessons, she bought a plane and set her first record, being the first woman to fly solo above 14,000 feet. So she starts small and
You have to
we
start
grow.
small.
Yes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, her family started having financial issues and her parents got a divorce.
Whoa.
Yes. That independent strength kicked in. She sold her plane and moved with her mother to the East Coast and got a job as a social worker for immigrant families, a settlement worker at Denison House, but she also flew in air shows to make some extra cash. One of my favorite stories of Amelia was when she was attending an air show. She was just watching it, and a female stunt pilot in the show crashed.
Oh.
And a man in the crowd next to Amelia states, like, see, that's why women shouldn't fly.
Oh.
What does Amelia do? I'd have turned around and like smart mouthed him. I mean, Amelia rushes to the nearest hangar, gets into a plane and into the sky right away as quickly as she could, and wows the crowd with stunts as she makes her beautiful, graceful landing. We'll come back to that. But as she lands, she's met with the press, and they're like, "Why'd you do that, Amelia? Like, what are you doing?" And she says, "I did this to show you that women are as good as pilots as men." And
There.
it just like it. I'm gonna show you. It stuck to her. I'm gonna do this. The press loved her straightforward,
Mm-hmm.
courageous nature. I think from there, the press was like, okay,
We're
I
gonna
like
follow you.
this. And people started to take real notice of Amelia Earhart. Aviation was, the new thing at the time. People were celebrating pilots and the growth of the industry. The biggest celebrity at the time for aviation was Charles Lindbergh. Oh my gosh, you failed.
The L was in my mind, but nothing else.
Yeah. Who on May 21st, 1927, completed the first solo nonstop transatlantic flight in history, flying his Spirit of St. Louis from Long Island, New York to Paris, France. But as I said, people were also starting to take notice of Amelia. And when publisher George Putnam started taking notice of her, her whole life changed. Putnam was in search of the female equivalent of Lucky Lindy. He wanted to expand upon the world's enthusiasm of flying. He was a publicist. He was let me get these names out here, maybe make a buck. She was the perfect image of this modern woman. She's got the tomboy look with the pants. She's short haircut,
Tall and slim.
very yes, and she has that gap.
Oh my gosh.
That it's an infamous gap in her
It is.
teeth.
It
I mean,
is.
it's a very
It's a gap.
yeah, it's a gap. Just a year after Lindbergh's flight, June 1928, a flight to cross the Atlantic was set, and Amelia would be the first woman to fly it as a passenger, or as she called herself, a quote, sack of potatoes. She hated it. She hated that she was just a passenger.
Well, I'm sure she's chomping at the bit to fly herself.
She was hailed, quote, Queen of the Air at that landing by the public. She was a bit embarrassed and she wanted to set off on her own. She was like, no, 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 no. This is just dumb.
I don't deserve that title at
No.
all.
And from there she became unstoppable. She set speed records, altitude records, first woman to fly solo across the country, LA to New Jersey. She did this in 19 hours and a few minutes. Her quote to the media was, quote, I wish I could have done it faster. She became the first person to fly solo from Hawaii to the United States mainland. George Putnam worked really hard to keep Amelia in the press. And that was his job. She is the modern woman. That was kind of what they were, I don't want to say what they were feeding everybody. I mean, she is doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't think Amelia was putting on a facade or anything. I think she really was a very
She was who
driven,
she was.
she was who she was, and he was feeding on that.
Mm-hmm.
He used that. Um, but she did. She encouraged women. She rejected the constrictive social norms, and she really wanted women to pursue ambitious opportunities. She she was very adamant about that. Fun fact that blew my mind. But she's doing all this, setting all these records, speaking up for women, and only, very, very, very few women at this time even drove cars, though.
Yeah.
Like I know I said that she flew before she could drive,
Mm-hmm.
but women just did not drive. And she look at this, all this stuff that she's already doing and achieving, and so it was a big deal. Like she really
I
wanted
think
to,
even going to the 40s and 50s,
yeah.
I mean, women just didn't
Mm-mm.
didn't drive.
In 1931, Amelia agrees to marry George, and I phrase it like that because he asked her many times. And well, she said she saw marriage as a cage. That once she was married, she was going to be some house-ridden
Mm,
woman with kids, and her independence was going to be gone. At least that's what, majority of women's lives looked like at the time.
sure.
And again, she fights the social norms. So at her wedding, her dress was brown, as she wrote a letter to George on their wedding day. And I had to put some of this in here. Some of the letter read, I shall not hold you to any medieval code of faithfulness to me, nor shall I consider myself bound to you similarly. I cannot say that word, I'm sorry. She went on to say, I must exact a cruel promise, and that is, you will let me go in a year if we find no happiness together. On their wedding day. Their vows at the wedding even omitted the word obey,
Mm-hmm.
love, honor, and obey.
Mm-hmm.
She took out the word obey. She kept her maiden name after they got married. I mean, he wouldn't let her change it. I mean, come on. Amelia
Yeah, I know.
Earhart. Earhart. We've talked about this. And she really considered their marriage an equal partnership, as it should be, but
Right.
yes. And after her marriage, she still made strides for women, setting a stage for aviation and women. She was called Lady Lindy, wrote articles for Cosmopolitan magazine, and in the 30s, she created a luggage as well as a fashion line for women.
Wow.
Women's clothing at the time was not designed for active women. Thus, in 1933, Amelia created Amelia Fashions, anti-wrinkle dresses, pants, and outerwear.
Nice.
She worked as a mentor for women at Purdue University. She worked to inspire and motivate women. And just, that's like what you can just sum it all up. She was a motivator for women. And because of her great inspiration, the university helped her raise the funds to build her dream plane, a Lockheed Electra 10E, an all metal twin engine low wing monoplane with retractable landing gears. I have no idea what I just said, but that's what she wanted. That was her dream plane, and the plane she planned on flying to achieve her greatest feat yet, flying around the world as the pilot, not as a sack of potatoes. The year was 1937. It would roughly follow the equator, was the flight
Mm-hmm.
path, about 29,000 miles. It would be the longest flight for anyone, not just women. It'd be the longest flight for anyone. On May 20th, so a man had flown around the world before her, but he flew at a different altitude and a different route.
Mm-hmm.
So hers was going to be longer because she was following the equator and she was flying at a different altitude. So it was going to be longer.
The first.
He wanted to make sure
Okay.
of that. So this is where I'm going to kind of start. She was really suffering with chronic. What did I say, Mom? I told you about it in our car ride to Atchison. I have to look it up on my phone now. I'm so
Yeah, that was the first I'd heard of it. So
chronic sinusitis. So she contracted the flu while she was a nurse's aide, and she got very sick. So she had her breathing was very bad. And there was even times where she had to have like tubes in her nose, but they like taped,
oxygen tubes.
yeah, and
Wow.
they would tape it down so you couldn't see. She was very, not very poor health. I mean, she was fine, but she wasn't very healthy. And I think she was, according to some resources, I think she was kind of done. Like she wanted to still mentor women and be an advocate for women, but I,
But like
I
after this
think
flight, she didn't.
I don't think she wanted to do the flight, but I don't think I don't think it was her idea. I think Putnam was like, you've already done all the other records. What? Let's do this. I personally, from everything I read, think he really pushed her to do it. I don't know.
Hmm.
And we can talk about that come theory time because it kind of ties into some of the theories we'll chat about. I don't think it was her idea. I think she was like, okay, this goes along with my image, but I don't know. I don't know that she necessarily was like,
Gung
this is
ho.
what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do this. I don't think she did that.
Hmm.
And that's kind of my takeaway. Um, so she started this tour with a man named Manning as her navigator. And a lot of people don't talk about Amelia's disappearance and her navigator disappearing. It wasn't just Amelia that disappeared. She also
Yeah.
had a navigator on the plane with her that disappeared.
Fred, he just gets overlooked.
So, actually, the first navigator that signed on for the flight with her was a man named Manning, and he eventually leaves the situation, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll get there. But uh, he was trained heavily in Morse code, and so he set up with because they're going to be stopping on a lot of patches of islands through the Pacific
Mm-hmm.
because they're
Mm-hmm.
going around the world. And so there was a lot of little islands that they were going to be flying over and being communication with as they flew.
And the military had access to a lot of those islands
Hmm.
and had airstrips and stuff on those islands.
Not, we didn't own the islands. They weren't our airstrips. We were
No, but
in
that's who she
communication.
communicated with.
Right. Well, it was small villages though. They weren't like military things. Like they were just small villages that they
Mm.
were in communication with to land. But he was working with um these radio people. I don't know what you call them, but he worked with Morse code, and so
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of the plan was to communicate with Morse code. Well, uh, so just keep that in mind. On May 20th, 1937, Amelia began her world tour in Oakland, California. They made a few short stops, first to Burbank, then to Tucson, Arizona, then a little longer to New Orleans, and finally in Miami, Florida, where they fueled up, prepared her beautiful personalized red Lockheed Electra, and headed out on June 1st, 1937. The public was really invested in this trip. I mean, this was advertised everywhere. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she is a celebrity at this point. Everybody knew who Amelia Earhart was. She wasn't
It's
just some little
crazy.
Atchison kid flying a plane. Like, she was known all over the United States. And the media printed all the details and followed her along the
Yep.
way
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. There was always a very enthusiastic welcome in the different countries and the different villages. I mean, they were all excited to be a part of this. They landed, they'd fuel up. They went to San Juan, Brazil, West Africa, Ethiopia. They were the first to make an Africa to India flight, touching down in Karachi. Karachi. Again, always greeted with huge fanfare. From India, they flew to Rangoon, Bangkok, then Bandung, where a monsoon held them back a few days.
Oh.
This extra time was needed, though, because Amelia became ill with dysentery.
Oh.
And there were some repairs that needed to be made to the plane because the long distance instruments were not working properly. So keep in mind she has dysentery. Okay.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's a yucky thing.
It is very yucky.
It's, sorry to be graphic, is coming out both ends. And keep that in mind as she continues this flight.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so once the weather cleared up and Amelia was decent enough to fly, they headed to Australia on June 28th, 1937. They fuel up and head eastward towards Lae, New Guinea, arriving there on June 29th. Now, for most, the difficult part of the trip was New Guinea to Howland Island. Now, on this tour in Hawaii, she crashed.
Oh.
And the plane was pretty beat up. So I know I've kind of gone forward. We're going to go back because I want to touch on something that I read, and I kind of was talking to you about it on our
Mm-hmm.
car ride
Mm-hmm.
yesterday. A few resources stated this, and it kind of made sense after watching all of the videos I'd seen and everything else. I don't want to take away from the idea that she was an amazing woman because she was. I think she set an amazing stage for women. I don't know that she was this grand pilot, though. This amazingly trained, great pilot.
Oh dear.
There's some pilots that have talked about like her landing is really I don't know anything about flying. I'm sorry. I don't know anything about planes, but her landings are very bouncy. She would land in like random fields instead of where she said she was going to
Oh
land.
no.
She crashed in Hawaii, and this is where Manning, her navigator, said, "I'm done."
Done.
And all the paperwork says that he quit because of, quote, pilot error. So because of her.
Wow.
And so Manning leaves and Fred Noonan comes on. And now Fred was an experienced naval man, and he was very great at was it called grounding? Is that what it's called when you like follow this? So you find like an object or an island or like a mountain to base on where you are, and then you go off like the stars.
Oh wow.
He
Okay.
he could navigate like insane. This is before you were literally just looking at a map, flying in the air. You don't have like
All the.
tracking or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that
Mm-hmm.
like we have nowadays. So you have to know where you are, and he was very good at it. He wanted to even open a navigational school to teach people.
Okay.
The other thing about Fred Noonan was he was a drinker.
Mm.
He's kind of a known alcoholic.
Oh
Okay.
dear.
So Fred Noonan's on with her from Hawaii on. Fred Noonan does not know Morse code. So all of these islands that Manning had set up, this is how we're going to communicate with you. When Fred Noonan took over, they didn't touch base with all these future islands and say, our radio is going to change now. Because Amelia did not know Morse code
No.
either. So Noonan doesn't know it, or knows bits and pieces. She doesn't know it, but all these stations think that
They're
that's
communicating.
going to be
Right.
one of their main ways of communicating. If the radio doesn't work or something goes out, that's how they were going to communicate. So that's interesting to note.
I guess so.
She also was the plane was carrying a ton of fuel, and there was
Hmm.
when they took off from, is it New Guinea when they take off?
Mm-hmm.
That the plane like barely gets off the ground.
Because of all the
It's,
fuel.
yeah, it's like, and this is also, people have said shows also her pilot error, but it barely gets off the ground. It's like air bubble there, and then she just slowly, finally starts to rise. But
Oh.
the belly of this plane is so filled with fuel. So I, I It's just crazy. But because of the so much fuel, she also got rid of a lot of her radio transmission stuff. She started to get rid of a lot of this equipment that was on the plane
to keep the fuel.
to make sure, because the weight of the airplane was so heavy. Now, we
Hmm.
saw a replica of this plane in Atchison. They actually have this really neat airfield. If you're not afraid of planes, it's pretty cool. And a whole museum there. It's beautiful. It's very well done. We'll post a couple pictures that we took while we were there. They have the replica of the plane. Just from all my research, because of all the fuel they had and all this kind of stuff, I really thought the plane was going to be smaller. It's a decent sized plane,
No, it
but it
is.
is small. I mean, two people are on it, but they had a bathroom on it. Thank goodness, because of her dysentery.
Yeah.
But they had just like fuel tanks loaded in there. Like it was bogged down with fuel tanks.
Wow. That's interesting when we listen to the theory.
I guess. So now you have Noonan. Okay. They're heading to Howland Island, and this is from New Guinea to Howland Island. This is roughly 2,200 miles away in the Pacific. Howland Island was very small.
Mm-hmm.
I believe on Astonishing Legends, they described it as a piece of spaghetti in the ocean. It is tiny. It's only 2 miles long and 1 mile wide. And they're flying over roughly 2,500 miles of open ocean.
And it's very cloudy that night.
There is a storm. It's very cloudy. They had gotten into an argument.
Oh,
I mean, come on, you are flying in a small plane with somebody that you would just, got paired up with, essentially. I mean, I'm sure she had some saying who she got paired up with, but I mean, God, I don't care who you are. We would go at each other's throats. You're stuck in a tiny plane. You got it coming out both ends. Like, you're not in a good place. You're tired. You're dirty. The sleep, you're not really sleeping
no.
at all.
Yeah.
It's pretty normal that you don't. But I guess they got into a really big fight, and Fred Noonan was seen at a bar that night.
Oh, in New Guinea?
So essentially, he's also hungover as they leave.
Ooh. Or maybe still a little drunk.
Resources say.
Mm.
And they're heading to this teeny tiny little thing. So keep in mind, too, so they had a lot of low cloud coverage. So they had to utilize a lot of fuel to go higher
Mm-hmm.
to get over the clouds
Okay.
and fly through the storm. And they're going into the headwind. So you're also using more fuel by doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a lot of things against them right now. They had only 3 more scheduled stops to complete the flight around the world. They had Howland Island, Honolulu, and Oakland. One thing to make note of was the communication from her plane to wherever she was going. It was pretty poor. No matter in the beginning and the end, their communication, the radio system was not, there was something wrong with it on her plane. It just was not communicating properly. So that's why the Morse code had come in handy.
Yeah.
And actually, somebody, I believe it was in New Guinea, forgive me, I forget where, told her to speak in a higher pitch when she spoke because that might transfer over the frequencies
Of course.
easier.
Yeah.
So later on, she actually will like whistle to try to get that to come across
Oh.
because she, I'm getting ahead of myself, but she never answers them. They can hear
No,
her
no.
and
She
they hear
doesn't.
her, but she never responds to them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's parts where she whistles or she starts to like talk in this really high pitched voice because she's trying to get it across to them, but she was not getting it from them. I'm getting ahead of myself,
Mm-hmm.
but the communication was not very well done. So the Coast Guard would send someone ahead of the plane so that they could keep track of the radio. And so this is what they did when they left New Guinea. The Coast Guard sent someone ahead to Howland Island so they could help her fly in by radio. On the morning of July 2nd, somewhere between New Guinea and Howland Island, it is believed the plane went off course. Is this because he's hungover, so his grounding was off? Is it because they flew upwards to avoid the cloud coverage, and so he got off base there? They're in a headwind, so it's slowing them down. Maybe the calculations were off because of that. There's a lot of situational what ifs
What ifs?
starting to play now.
Plus, this is just a piece of spaghetti in the ocean.
Exactly.
And it was a very cloudy night. It was the what the visibility was
Mm-hmm.
very difficult that night.
Yes. So, as I said, she is having problems hearing the Coast Guard on her radio. They could hear her very clearly, so clearly, in fact, that they thought she must be right above them.
Hmm.
They had sent a crew out to prepare for her arrival because the radio was so strong. One of the guys actually, the radio guy actually went out on the deck to see. He's like, surely I'm going to see her. It's so clear.
Mm.
And the sky was empty. 7:42 a.m. Quote, KHAQQ, we must be on you, but cannot see you. Gas is running low, but unable to reach you by radio. We are flying at 1,000 feet. Unquote. So she would have been seen at 1,000 feet.
Hmm.
Sky was empty. 8:43 a.m. Quote, we're in a line position of 157 and 337. We'll report on 6,210 kilocycles. Wait, listen on 6,210 kilocycles. We are running north and south. And this is the last known for sure radio frequency the Coast Guard received from Amelia. And she said, we'll repeat. And she never spoke again. And I say known frequency because others, as I'm sure you will talk about, even some thousands of miles away over time will claim that they hear her after she crashes and they hear her over the radio. So, but that's her very last running north and south. We'll repeat.
And then
And
nothing.
then never did. Lockheed, the manufacturer of the plane, said if you are hearing calls from this airplane, it's not floating because the radios don't work when wet.
Oh,
So later on, when people are saying they're getting transmissions of her, there's like, I don't know, I don't want to
I
talk on your point.
actually don't have that
Okay, so there was a girl in Texas. I think it was Texas. Shoot. But there was a young girl who
in the United States.
that got a transmission, which is possible. Radio frequencies can get picked up. Those radio, it's crazy how those radios work. There's actually like Astonishing Legends did an incredible two-part episode on this. It's amazing. I highly suggest if you're interested, you want to dive in more. I just kind of touched on like where she landed and what she, a little bit here and there. They really did a very good job. So this young girl got a radio frequency of her saying, "We're in New York," or "I see New York," and then something along the lines of, "We're injured." Um, I am Amelia Earhart.
They see New York.
So what they think is, which I know you will cover on, is the SS
Minnow.
Norwich, the ship that was. Please tell me you're covering this.
I have a lot of theories, but I don't
Oh,
have them
this is
all.
like the main one that Tiger's covered. That Tiger did.
No.
So what they've kind of come to surmise was that she wasn't saying New York, but she was saying the Norwich. So the SS Norwich City was a ship that was departing Melbourne in 1929, and it manned 26 officers and crew and 9 Arab firemen. And they were heading to Honolulu. And there was a big storm and they crashed. And this ship is left there, abandoned,
Hmm.
because of this big crash. So that's why the group, the Earhart Project, Tiger, assumed that that's where they had crash landed. So this Earhart Project, it's Tiger, and it's Tighar, the Earhart Project. Um, they go into real depth of the wreck of the Norwich City ship. And this is a huge ship. And there's coral reef
Hmm.
around this. And that's kind of what the ship had crashed into.
Okay.
So, a lot of scientists have said that the coral will start to erode the metal. And it took about 10 years for the coral to start to erode the ship, and the ship finally broke in half and whatever. So the Norwich would still be there when Amelia was there because it crashed in 1929.
Okay.
So it was still there. You could still visibly see it. And there are pictures of the island back then in 1937 that show the crashed ship. It's very eerie. They would terrify me. A big object. But um, so that's what they think that she was saying is that she was there and she could
Norwich,
see,
not New York.
yeah, she could see that. So that's kind of where Tiger has made its basis of that they crashed there and that's where they landed. But no plane has ever been found there.
Nope.
Nothing. There was a piece of aluminum that they said that they found there.
Plexiglass also.
But Tiger, there was a an initial on the aluminum. It was like AD or something like that, which is comes from a company that made all the aluminum, but that initial didn't get stamped on their aluminum until later in the 40s. So her plane would have already been made. And there are pictures of aluminum that they had used, I want to say when they left Hawaii, to cover one of the windows. So she had used aluminum to patch up a window, but
Oh, because
that,
she crashed.
yes, but that stamp would not have been there because they didn't stamp their aluminum until. So, but Tiger still is pretty sure. But the plane was never found there and has never been found there.
Mm-mm.
And if it wasn't in the coral, which would eventually erode a plane, right? If it was just in the water, it would not erode. It would just be, it would still be there in full. It would be there. There would be pieces of it.
Right. And they searched that island, though. I mean, pretty much after she went missing, they searched all those little islands. So
Oh,
they would
yes.
have seen it
It would have seen something.
had they crashed, had she crashed on that island.
Yeah. So Tiger has done a lot of searching on this island. They found bones that they did tests on that came back to match her height, and it came back from a European descent. But then that doctor like lost the bones, and
I
then it
did
came
cover that.
and it came back though that it was some resources said that it ended up being a child of Malaysian descent. I don't know. They say that they think that she was eaten by crabs, like big. They're kind of creepy looking crabs, actually.
Big crabs.
I'll post a picture of it. They're called something special crabs. Something special crabs. Ate her. I don't, Mom. I don't know because they did find freckle cream.
Yeah, I have that. They found
What?
freckle cream
Freckle cream
and
that she supposedly used, and they found a
a
sole of a
shoe.
shoe
Mm-hmm.
that she was pictured wearing that kind of shoe, but that ended up coming back as being a man's shoe.
Fred was wearing little cat shoes. It was, there's a special name for him. I have it.
Cat shoes?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like a
I'll let you cover all the theories, but I just thought that that was interesting that these distress calls were being heard from people that picked up transmissions on their radios,
yeah.
thousands of miles away. And these are regular people, like commercial radio, like listening to Little Orphan Annie, and then
All of a sudden that comes in.
the short wave band tune in from foreign stations, reports from Florida, Iowa, Texas, Canada. There was one that said, "We have taken in water. We can't hold much longer."
Oh my
If
gosh.
that's not her, that's creepy.
No, it is. Someone's dying and you can't do anything about it. You don't even know where they're at.
And that's a horrible joke. If that's just somebody being like, "I'm taking on water." Somebody sitting in their bath. Like, I don't know. I can't hold on much longer. The official stance made was that Earhart and Noonan were lost at sea, even though they never found a
Anything.
plane.
No evidence of that.
But there are so many. I'm gonna let mom take away theories. I'm gonna really, 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 really try to shut up because I have been digging in Amelia Earhart for years. So I'm interested to see what you came up with. We can discuss the documentary that I made you watch because
Yeah.
let's end on that one.
No, it's towards the end. I'm
I
going to end with some
so
wild theories.
I really liked how Astonishing Legends, they said these are not theories. They gave the definition of theories, and theories has like actual fact to them. And all of these quote unquote theories, there is no fact to any of it because nothing has been found. Nothing of here you go, here's a wheel of a plane, or here you go, here's her bag, or
Or briefcase or whatever.
here's her
Yeah.
a fuel tank. Like absolutely nothing, nothing has been found that is 100% this is from her plane. Da 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 da. Here it is. Nothing. So you can't call it a theory, you call it a hypothesis.
Oh, there you go.
I thought that was
So
very
you
clever.
even think the fact that they found the aluminum and they found plexiglass and they found this freckle cream is not, it's still not theory because
No,
it's still
because
not
that island
evidence.
was not some abandoned island that people did not go to. They had people there scouting that island regularly
Hmm.
for planes, boats. That was not just some abandoned island that nobody was ever on. People were there regularly. So that could have been from any of those people.
Mm. Or the ship.
I, yeah, no, and that's exactly right. They buried men from the ship on that island. So they lived on the island, until they were rescued. I don't know. And they had no water. They found the ship people, the ship people.
The crew.
They found, I don't know what it's called. There's a special word for it when it's like seawater and
Yes.
lake water, natural water, whatever, rainwater mixed
Hmm.
together, and it sits. They got that water and they boiled it and then they drank that.
Hmm.
And so it's not like you're gonna. That's the thing, is if you're able to do that. And they came to this island and searched this island 3 days after she went missing.
Hmm.
That plane would still be there.
Yep.
Hell, even if he was injured or she was injured or something, don't you think after it's 3 days, somebody be waving, here I am.
Or find something to start a fire, to do smoke signals, or
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
So that's, mm-mm, mm-mm. That's why I'm heavily on my theory, my hypothesis that I told you in the car yesterday. I'm not going to say anything yet, but so I will shut up now. I will
Oh,
let
are we
I
ready?
mm, yes.
All right. So Beth covered the New Guinea part, and the cloud cover and the radio transmission issues. Um,
And a hungover navigator who didn't know Morse code, and she's like using the bathroom all the time, and
oh my
they're
gosh,
fighting.
they're fighting.
They have everything going against them at this
No
point.
kidding. No kidding.
Mm-mm.
Uh, okay. So, as Beth said, the most prevalent hypothesis is that on July 2nd, and I'm going to repeat some of the stuff you said,
Yeah, we didn't work
um,
together. I know.
1937, Earhart and Noonan took off from Ley, I'm sorry, in New Guinea. By this time, the duo was already 22,000 miles into their round world flight and only 7,000 miles to go.
It's crazy.
Howland Island was their destination, as you said, but that was only really to refuel both
Mm-hmm.
the plane and themselves. Um, the U.S. Coast Guard was stationed off the island waiting for Earhart to arrive. Howland Island, as you said, was very small. It's just 1 square mile, cucumber shaped island.
This is a piece of spaghetti in the ocean.
Yeah, but it's shaped like a cucumber. So it's really small. Um, yeah, I guess, according to my resources, she did say to the chief radio man on the ship that they could not see the island.
Mm.
The longer they searched, the more fuel they lost.
Yeah, she said I only have
I'm
I'm
run,
running low on
I'm running
fuel.
low on fuel, and that's why what you said just kind of like they were burdened with fuel,
They were
so much
and
so that
so many people who have researched this longer than we did for a podcast. Um and people who know their stuff. She should have had, did you read that she should have had at least 2 hours left of fuel? And that's even calculating in
it's
going into the headwind, going above the clouds, even heading off course. She should have had at least 2 hours of fuel
so where'd that
left.
fuel go? What happened? Okay, so she lost contact with the
Could
chief.
she just have been freaking out? Like, just like maybe she did have more fuel, but she was just like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, we should see the island by now. I'm not hearing anybody on my radio.
And what if we don't find it? We're
Oh my
gonna
gosh,
run.
we're gonna run low on fuel.
I don't know. So as Beth said, the last contact was at 8:45 a.m. It's thought that the plane ran out of fuel. I don't know how, and crashed into the ocean,
Mhm.
killing
Most logical people are gonna hear him. That's just kind of what they've surmised.
killing Amelia and Fred and sinking into the depth of the ocean, never to be found. Okay. That makes sense, but for one thing, Amelia was an experienced pilot. She might have had her stumbling blocks, but she was an experienced pilot. Would she have lingered in the air searching for Howland Island, knowing she was running that low on fuel? Wouldn't she, with her navigator Fred, look for another island to land on? Again, there's a lot of little islands. So if she couldn't see Howland, then
I think Howland was one of the bigger ones,
I
though.
know. I mean, there's a lot of teeny tiny.
That's why it had been chosen for her to refuel. But because all the other islands around there, even close, were so tiny, tiny.
Yeah. So the first hypothesis is that they just crashed into
Sure,
the ocean.
sure.
The end.
Because
That's
we
all I
haven't
have.
found her plane
Well, it's
makes no
pretty
sense.
deep. So I don't know.
Not there though, because of the coral. It really is not that deep.
Well, we don't
I
know
mean, it's deep, but it's not. I guess we don't necessarily know where.
where.
But
Maybe
there's
they
so
were
many.
totally off course.
But there are so many people that have tracked the radio frequencies of where it was coming from and like looked in this area, looked in that area. You'd think by now, 87 years later,
With our
all of,
technology and everything.
yes, you can, you go above and you can, is it sonographs or whatever they're called, but you can read the bottom of the ocean and read where things are. We have gone in the Titanic. You should be able to have found Amelia Earhart's plane by now. I'm just saying, it's been 87 years. And you have people like Tiger and this person and that person that have the money that are putting
Right.
towards this. Like their whole life's work is this. Sorry, go on.
Well, this leads to our second. I'm going to say
Say theory.
theory
I was just telling what they said because I thought it was fun. Okay.
that perhaps Earhart did find Gardner Island, which is now Nicamero Island, and the Electra aircraft either crash landed and Earhart and Noonan died, or she landed successfully on the island and the duo lived on the island for maybe months before perishing, or maybe they lived out their lives. Don't know.
Wouldn't you still find stuff there though?
Okay. Well, I have Nicamero is an uninhabited coral atoll, is what it's
Okay.
called. It's about 4.5 miles long and 1.5 miles wide. An atoll is a coral reef or island enclosing a lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of, and I living on that island is going to be tough. There's freshwater would be tough. There's not much, you'd have to catch those crabs and eat them. There's not like a wildlife or anything on this island. So
Yeah.
it would be tough to survive.
You would die, but then something would be found there though.
Investigative expeditions have been to the island, and these were some of the things that an aluminum panel, as you said, plexiglass similar to the glass used for electrica window,
An
um,
Electra, yeah.
and then a size 9 1930s cat paw heel,
Mm-hmm.
and an empty jar of freckle cream that Amelia was said to use. Um, I saw that in a couple of resources. Obviously, you did too, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like something that's reported everywhere. So that was the thing that, it's like, okay, that's interesting. Analysis in 1941. Oh, they also found bones, which you had said. Um, and in 1940, analysis in 1941 suggested the bones belonged to a 45 to 50-year-old male.
Mm-hmm.
Fred was 44. Then later, it was suggested that the bones were consistent with the limb measurements of Amelia from the photos taken of her.
Yep.
She was a very tall, athletic
Mm-hmm.
woman. Um, Sometime after 1941, the bones were lost.
Yeah.
The bones were to be sent to Sydney University for further testing, and their last location on record was Fuji. Then, just like Amelia, poof, they're gone.
So stupid.
But then in 2018, the unbelievable happened. The bones were rediscovered.
Unbelievable being the word.
I don't know how
I mean,
or where they have been or how they
find
were
bones,
discovered.
these must have been those Amelia Earhart bones we lost a
I
long time
have,
ago. It
you
just
know,
doesn't
it,
make any sense to me.
and what great timing with all of our advanced degree or technology, the bones will have more of a chance to be identified with the DNA. They are going to match the DNA of the bones to the DNA of Amelia's last surviving niece. But, this was, what did I say,
2018?
2018? We don't have anything.
No.
There's nothing updated from the bones.
No.
And you would think if it was such a great find that you would have heard about it by now.
No.
Just
I'm sorry.
saying.
They were just some bones from something else. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I read the child thing too, and I thought, well, those must have been other bones because there's no way that they were men's bones and Amelia's bones and then a child's
No.
bones. I mean, so that one was all messed up. I read about that too. All right. We're going to go into the really interesting theory. This theory says that the Electra, sorry, crash landed in the Marshall Islands, and Amelia and Fred were captured by the Japanese military. Saki.
Yes.
They were either executed or held prisoners on the island of Saipan. This theory began in the 1960s when Islanders' accounts surfaced. I'm going to cover this little. This is the section I had before we watched that. Okay, so this is what I had previously. So the Islanders' accounts surfaced, and supposedly they saw Earhart and Noonan in Japanese custody. Of course, they said a white woman and a
Mm-hmm.
white man.
Yep.
And in 2017, a photo buried for 80 years in the National Archives was uncovered. Did you see this photo?
Yes, I saw this photo.
The photo shows a dock with several people on it. There's a man facing the photographer that could be Fred. He was a Caucasian man, and a person sitting looking outward that may be Amelia, but all you can see is the back of that person.
But it's a Caucasian woman.
There's also a barge with what looks like an Electra airplane on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this airplane was very unique in its style.
There was not very many Electras
No,
in general, but it was American made. So there would be no reason for that to be on Saipan
no.
at all.
No, because
Never. Not a single one.
they did not use aluminum or metal to make their airplanes. So this was an American airplane, American made airplane that was on this barge.
They didn't make their airplanes out of metal. What they make their airplanes out of?
It was some kind of other material, but it wasn't metal. That's what one of the
Wood?
that's what one of the soldiers said. Um,
Had to be some kind of metal.
or they didn't use aluminum, maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe that was it. Okay, this
Red,
photo
red
has
color. I don't know.
bright. It was shiny. This photo has been under close scrutiny, and several researchers do not believe that the people on the dock are Fred and Amelia. I don't know. My 2 cents worth. Could be. The man was tall, facing the camera. It did look like a Caucasian man, and the woman
The woman looks
sitting
like Amelia.
as a
She's very tall, slender,
she's sitting with she has dark hair,
and it's short.
and I mean, and he looks like Fred.
Fred.
And then
And
the plane is what really made me like second guess. It was like maybe it is them.
but is this doctored? Because it's so perfect. Like it's so perfect.
It's
It
grainy.
shows,
It's grainy.
but no, but it shows all three things. When I say it's perfect, it shows Fred
Oh yeah.
Noonan, it
Oh
shows
yeah.
Amelia Earhart, and it shows the plane. Dun 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 dun. But like the other thing too, if it's not doctored in any way, why would there have been Caucasians in Saipan? There would not have
There
been.
wouldn't have
Not
been.
at this time. This is before the war, but we're not in we are not in this nice cozy friendship with Japan in any way
No,
at
and
this
it would
time.
have been military, and if any Caucasians were there, there was military, but it
But
not
not Caucasian, not Americans.
it. I don't know. I don't know. So if it wasn't doctored, it's a
It's
very
very
weird
interesting.
thing.
It's interesting.
Um, and I hope to post that picture.
Hmm.
So because it really makes you second guess. So I'm just personally, I'm saying it could very well have been them.
Sure.
Backing up this theory is that documentary.
Mm.
Beth is going to add to it as I go, I guess.
I'm sorry. I, I mean, I have to go on. I'm not going to add. I'm not going to. I'm just going to compliment you. Go on.
So, backing up this theory are personal accounts of U.S. military personnel that served in and around the Marshall Islands during the Second World War. A very interesting documentary interviewing these men can be seen on Amazon Prime, and it is called Earhart's Electra: Eyewitness Accounts of What Happened to Amelia's Plane.
And this documentary came out in 2012 by a man named Richard Martini. And he was really using, uh, so Fred Gorner was a CBS reporter in the 60s. And he actually was the first one to kind of come across these interviews with the villagers. And he was the one who kind of started to build this theory.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Richard Martini jumped in and made this documentary by actually putting these interviews on screen. Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. It's $1.99 to rent.
It's
Suggest
well worth it.
I suggest it. It's a very, military-esque, slower paced documentary. So don't be watching it for like jumps and thrills.
No,
But the things that they say,
it'll blow your mind.
sat there just totally slack-jawed. Like just what?
So what I'm going to do is kind of put the information on the documentary into a nutshell.
Yeah.
Because I really think that if you're interested in this and you're interested in what we're going to share, you need to watch it.
No, you should watch it regardless. Yeah.
It's just, so mind-blowing. So in 1937, a plane crashed, landed, or was shot down in the Marshall Islands. Islanders reported seeing a white man and a white woman captured and taken to the prison in Saipan, where the prisoners were kept for as long as 5 to 6 years. After that time, both prisoners were executed and buried. Now, there are islanders who actually said they saw the execution.
Hmm.
And then basically there was a grave behind these people. They were shot, their bodies tumbled into the grave, and they were buried.
Hmm.
So that was like firsthand account. Um, Now, this wasn't just a few people. Of course, just a few people saw the execution, but overall, there was over 200 islanders giving testimony that they saw Earhart and Noonan. Of course, they
Yes.
didn't know their names, but Earhart and Noonan is who we assume that's who they saw.
But they literally say a female pilot
Mm-hmm.
because that was so uncommon
Odd, yes.
that is a female pilot.
Yeah.
And they always assumed that Noonan was the pilot, but they were corrected that she was the pilot. So that's why it stuck out
A
to these
white
villagers was
female.
a white female pilot.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
was just wow. Yeah.
So, according to this documentary, Amelia's twin engine Lockheed Electra plane was shipped and placed at Aslido Airfield in the Marshall Islands
Hmm.
after it had been downed. Um, the veterans attested to the fact that they saw the plane. Um, it was, in fact, very distinct because it was such an unusual plane. One man said that he even saw the tail number,
Hmm.
NR 16020, the number of Amelia's plane. So they found it in this hangar, but the hangar had been, the airfield had been attacked by the Americans, and the Japanese fled the air strip and fled the whole area, and
Or were captured.
actually left a lot of grounded planes, just left them
Yeah.
there. So hers was well, that plane was in a hangar that was just kind of falling apart. And
Mhm.
there was even boards just kind of placed against the airplane. So it wasn't like it was in this top secret little
Right.
stashed away hangar or anything. Um, Now, there was an office right next to that. The
On the
office,
airfield, yeah.
yeah, and on the airfield, and the office was intact. Um, and I'll tell you in just a little bit what they found in there. Here's the part that's really, well, it blew my mind, and I think it blew yours too. According to the veterans, the U.S. military, what? Blew up the plane.
So
Yes, you heard me right. The
so
U.S. military blew up the plane. They saw this happening, totally destroying it. And this is from three different veterans, all in different part, an army person, a navy person, and a marine. Um, and they didn't know each other.
yeah, so I I, I have to so I have to give them credit. So there was this last name his last name was Neighbors, and he's a code clerk. So he's just getting in messages, decoding
Mm-hmm.
messages because I have I have to give them all their credit due here. This was a huge battle. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of American men were lost.
Saipan was a big,
It was a very big
yeah.
battle. And it was in 1944. There was over 60,000 Japanese. And the first wave of US Navy to try to get on to Saipan were all killed. It was horrible. The second wave, they didn't make it very far, but they eventually
They
gained
didn't
some.
realize the numbers that they were going up
It
against.
was horrible. So you had his last name was Neighbors, and he was a coder for the Army. So you
Mm-hmm.
have him with the Army, and he's just working late at night with one of the officers, and all of a sudden it comes over clear as day. We found Amelia Earhart's plane. And he kind of decodes it, and he's like,
Huh?
Amelia Earhart, I mean, she's a celebrity. Like, okay. Uh, officer, does that really say that? Like, what's going on? So you have his story, and again, we're not going to share everything. You have to go watch this
Mm-hmm.
documentary.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have another officer, Thomas E. Devine, and he is, I think he was a pilot or he was with the Air Force of some kind. He was on a totally different does not know neighbors, doesn't know
No,
anything.
no, no,
He
no.
had a totally different job. He was working with a totally other officer that they went into depth on, which I thought was so beautiful. That officer had the really cool story.
Yeah.
It was just done very well. And his job was his officer just came to him and said, "Get in the Jeep. You're driving me." They found Amelia Earhart's plane. And this is like several days later. These people don't know each other at
No,
all.
they're not
They're
working
in different
together.
units.
And
I mean, they're working together. They're working with the United States, but they're not on a unit together. Nothing. This is just a totally separate story. So he drives them there, and neighbors had actually been assigned to guard the hangar. Do not let anybody in.
oh,
Do
yeah,
not let
that's
anybody
right.
in. Don't let anybody see this. We need to keep this safe until we figure out what the heck we're going to do with this because this is Amelia Earhart's plane. So then Divine drives up that night, doesn't know neighbors, has never met him before. It's kind of funny in the documentary that they put two and two together in the documentary.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that had to have been neighbors. But he's like, yeah, we drove up and we said, okay, we have to see the plane. And this guy would not let us in.
There's an officer, and the guy was just like, I don't know what to do. This is an officer, but he said, no, I've been given strict orders
Hmm.
and I will adhere to those. And they were not allowed to go in and see the plane.
Yep. It's crazy. The whole thing was just crazy.
Okay. Then the other person that they interviewed was Robert Wallach, and he's a retired U.S. Marine. And he stated that in 1944, while on duty in Saipan, he discovered a briefcase inside a safe in an office at Eslido Airfield. So remember, I said there was an office there close to that hangar that the plane was at. They blew up the safe or blew it open,
Hmm.
um, and there was a briefcase inside of there. So he pulled it out, and of course, he looked into it. He looked inside the briefcase and he saw visas and identification, maps and notes, and all these things belonging to Amelia Earhart. He also stated that, interestingly, the inside of the briefcase and all it contained was dry
Hmm.
and nothing was water damaged. So, if
Nope.
things dry
Nothing
up,
was
like
wrinkled.
paper and stuff, it get kind of, wrinkled up and stuff.
Passport
Nothing.
was in there.
Everything.
I mean, all of her maps,
The visas to get into the different
different
countries that
countries.
she was popping into, everything was in that.
No.
Okay, so even though he saw what was in it, and yeah, it was pretty striking. I mean, it was striking when he found, but he followed protocol.
Yeah, so they if they found anything, he kept it for like 3 or 4 days though. Which
Well, can you imagine the temptation? I mean, I'm just going to take
well,
that
but it didn't have any military value. And if it didn't have any military value, he could keep it. But
after, but he had to
I
turn it
think
in and they were going to give it to him if it didn't have any
they
military
give him a
value.
receipt and
And
then he could
he
get it when
could
he goes back
retrieve
home.
it.
Right.
Yes.
So he did follow
So
protocol.
he did.
But he gave it, he was, I think he was Army and he went down
He
to
was
the
Navy. He
beach.
was
He
Navy.
was Navy.
No, he was Marine. He was a Marine.
Okay, oh, that's right. That's right. He was a Marine and he went down to the beach and found an Army officer
Hmm.
or Navy officer, somebody of a totally
It was a
different.
Navy officer
But
that
he
was
remembered,
there.
he says, I went down to look for somebody with scrambled eggs on their hat
Yep.
because it just showed he was an officer. So he didn't even really know he was handing it off to. He just knew he was handing it off to an officer
An
because
officer.
he was going to follow protocol, get his receipt, and then get
Yep.
it back.
And get it back because he knew that it didn't have any military value at all.
Right.
And the officer did give him a receipt.
Mm-hmm.
So he got all of that. Um, but there was one problem with the whole thing. The briefcase never showed up again.
No, no.
So I'm
Nope.
thinking that perhaps just like, I mean, I perhaps it was also maybe it was on that plane when they blew up the plane. It's almost like it okay, government conspiracy or whatever, but so why are why would they try to hide all this? Why so much secrecy? Why blow up this plane? People have been looking in for this woman
I mean, they
and
got rid
Fred.
of this plane. They the witnesses that saw it being blown up, like saw late at night people covering it in gasoline, and then a plane flew over and shot at it, blows this
Blew it up.
up. They let it cool down, obviously, because it's on fire. They dis disassemble the whole plane and then they bury the aircraft. And that was protocol, though, to bury an old aircraft. Like, I guess that's what they did. I
But
don't know.
this was in the dark of night. This was
Exactly.
a secret mission.
Exactly. But if you follow my theory as to why,
Why?
then we'll get to. But
So there are, of course, different theories, but one makes sense, and that's Beth's theory also. Amelia was a spy
either
for
she
the
knew it or she
for the
didn't know it.
US.
But yes.
Was she enlisted as a spy or did she even know,
Hmm.
as you said?
Yes.
It was mentioned in the documentary that her plane was outfitted by the military slash government with special cameras and other secret spy things that maybe she
Special
didn't.
spy things.
I know it's like all these spy things that maybe she didn't even know were on her plane.
Yes, there was somebody who said he fitted her plane with two spy cameras. It's like I put two spy cameras in the belly of that plane. And he just said it so matter of factly. Did she know they were there? Did they not? Did she not know they were there? Because her husband, romantically or not, however you want to go into her and her man, Putnam, was very good friends with FDR. And Amelia was very good friends with Eleanor Roosevelt. They had dinners with them. They hung out with them.
Hmm.
And think again about what when this is. Again, this is before the war, but we're not besties with Japan by any means.
No,
And there's tension building. I think I mean they knew something was bound to happen. And FDR kind of goes along with my theory. What better way to kind of take a peek at these islands in the Pacific to see what's going on, then, oh, we lost a pilot. We need to go figure out if
not
she's on
only
any of these
not only a
islands.
pilot, a celebrity
A
that
Amelia
the
Earhart,
whole world would look for. So it's like, was she a pawn?
because all these islands build up perfect stepping stones from Japan to Hawaii. So I don't know.
I mean, it's an
Is she
interesting.
purposefully used as a spy? Did she know going in? And
Exactly.
so then you have to ask yourself, was there a plan for her to ditch somewhere? Is that why she got rid of all of her radio stuff? Not because they had all of this extra stuff,
Right?
but is that why she got rid of all of her radio stuff? Because it was the plan all along to lose radio and you come over here and we'll take care of you over here. We don't know how she got on Saipan. Was she shot down? Was she escorted down? I don't know how that works
Yeah.
because, other witnesses also said that they actually saw her plane being flown around
Hmm.
Saipan. Some of the American officers, after they found the plane, were like, hell yeah, I'm going to take that plane up, and flew the plane. And that's when he saw the markings, the plane ID on the wing because they were flying it around.
So it's thought that perhaps Japan suspected her as a spy, and
Maybe
that's
they
why they
found the
shot her
cameras,
down.
and so maybe they shot her down because they saw an American plane, and then when they found the cameras, that's why they kept her for so long. As you're obviously needed, they obviously want you. So, but this might sound familiar too. In 1943, there was a movie called Flight of
Yes.
Freedom,
Yes.
and so this goes into a lot of other theories too. So, Flight of
Freedom
Freedom, I'm so sorry,
with
was
Rosaline Russell.
yes.
She portrayed Amelia,
Hmm.
and she was a U.S. spy
Yeah. She portrays a female
with a
pilot.
different name.
Yeah. So
But
this was
everyone
actually,
always, yeah.
this movie was produced by RKO Pictures, who the CEO was Floyd Odlum, whose wife was Jacqueline.
Yeah,
Okay. Now, Jacqueline was a friend and a female pilot of Amelia's. They knew each other. They were both female pilots. Okay. So I'm going to get to this theory that I saw because I thought it was pretty cool. There's also a very heavy rumor that Putnam drafted the script of this
really.
movie. Hmm. Yes. So in the end of this movie, the Japanese find out, uh, and to save them, she crashes into the ocean in the end because the Japanese find out that she is working as a spy for the United States. Uh, yeah. So anyway, um, one of the theories, and I'm sure you'll share about how they thought that this other woman was her, Irene Bollum. Hmm. I'll let you get into that one. But there was this crazy story that Jacqueline, this wife,
Hmm.
the wife of the producer and everything, who was friends with Amelia, went dressed as a nun to save Amelia from the imperial palace because that's where Amelia was shot down, brought to Saipan, whatever. But she was brought then as a prisoner to the
The
imperial
Imperial.
palace. Jacqueline went dressed as a nun to save Amelia, brought her back to the United States, and then that's when she became this Irene Bollum, this woman who lived in New Jersey.
I just think that I'll go on with that, but
Yes, yes,
I
yes, yes.
just think that
I want to chat about this
it
because
was
this is crazy.
it's so mind-boggling that perhaps this woman Amelia was used as a pawn by her, and she didn't even have a clue what was going on. But like Beth said, they knew the Japanese would shoot her down or take her captive, and it was a great excuse to island hop and look really in depth
These
for
islands,
her for her airplane and gather
well,
material,
these
military
islands had not
information.
been surveyed since the 1800s. So some of them had grown, some of them have gotten smaller, some of them are just coral atolls or wherever you
Hmm.
said they were. So they had not been surveyed since the 1800s. So what a better use than, you know what, Amelia? You're a pilot. Why don't you fly around the world? How great would that be for Americans? And you know what? While you do that, there's some cameras. Just take a few pictures for us
And chart, maybe even chart.
and just,
Because,
just fly around the world for us. It's great for you. You get to set another record and just
yep.
take some pictures. Big
Well, you
deal.
said Fred was a great navigator and knew ground stuff. Maybe he was chosen for a reason. Maybe he was chosen to chart these little islands.
I know. Or they used her as a pawn and she had no idea these cameras are on there.
Hmm.
I don't like to think that, but
I don't know. I mean, this just leaves you even more with weird, weird thoughts. Um, I don't know. Yeah, that's why I texted Beth right away and said, "Wow."
yeah, after this documentary, oh my gosh. I mean, you have these military men, don't know each other, have never talked to each other, having these
They're not
similar.
reaping anything from this. I mean, two
No.
of them passed away a year after they
And
did
again,
the
this isn't some
documentary.
big boom
So,
documentary. These are very old men that
yeah,
talk very, you put subtitles on.
put subtitles, yeah.
Um,
And don't get frustrated with clearing of throat or
yeah.
dry throat.
Uh, but yeah, it was crazy because they had prisoners saw them, prisoners that were imprisoned with
Hmm.
her and Noonan.
And
They
Noonan.
had villagers give a bunch of interviews with their very strong accents. They could barely speak English. You have witnesses that saw them being driven around in jeeps. You have, I don't know, I don't know. You had a doctor. You had the medical examiner
Hmm.
say, yes, I treated both Amelia and Noonan apparently had a cut on his knee and his forehead, which then goes into one of the witnesses from one of the villagers who could barely speak English. It said, "Yes, I saw them being driven around in a Jeep. She was in the front seat. Everybody's talking about how there's a female pilot on the island, and he was in the back with his head wrapped up."
Hmm.
For
How
the
would he know
medical
that?
exam, yeah,
He wouldn't have known that. That
I think, case solved, done.
well, it just makes
So,
so much
and I know you
more
asked, like,
sense.
but why did the plane get blown up or everything? I think because they were using her as a spy.
I
And
do
the
too. And
United
that
States
was
had to cover
evidence.
their asses
It was evidence.
because one, if she's found alive, they have to explain
Where
why.
she's
Why did they capture her?
where's she been?
Where,
What
yeah, so, exactly.
why was she there?
Exactly. You really have to come up with the story. And she's obviously dead, so now we have to like, whoa, we gotta cover this crap up. Like, I don't know. Conspiracy theorist Beth over here, but
I
I
don't
think
know.
boom, bing, bang, boom, that's solved. I don't know. She's a celebrity. She knew very well. And if Putnam's drafted the script, are you kidding me for that movie? That's basically like, let me clear my conscience a little bit here. Here's a movie you should put out, buddy. I, I don't know.
Oh no.
I don't know.
I don't know. But it makes you really start thinking,
Hmm.
you know.
And like I said, I don't know that she necessarily was like, let me go fly around the world in her weird little accent she had.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly around the world
It
and
was almost
break a
Southern.
record. And
Get dysentery.
I want to show women that
I don't know. So now if I may,
if you may, yeah, I'll
I'm
shut up.
gonna
I'm
go
so speechless.
into because that's a theory that Beth and I are kind of sticking with, but there's some really odd ones out there, and those are the ones I want to end this with. Um, so as Beth has said, Earhart survived the plane crash into the Pacific Ocean, was taken prisoner by the Japanese. Then she was found by her friend, Jacqueline, and secretly returned to New Jersey.
Mhm.
And she didn't want any recognition. And probably the military told her that she shouldn't
Stay
get
hidden.
any recognition. So she took the name of Irene Bolam and became a banker.
Mhm.
Well, you did say she worked as a bank in the bank.
Yeah. That must have been her favorite job out of all of the ones that she had. I mean, clearly.
So she was declared dead on January 5th, 1939, in absentia. So, according to this theory, it was easy for Earhart to pull off the Bolam identity.
Sure.
This theory came from a book published in 1970, and when the real Irene Bolam heard of the book's claim, she sued the author and the publisher for $1.5 million. Bolam, the actual one, died in 1982, continuously denying that she was Amelia Earhart, and several experts hold up her claim. Have you seen a picture of her?
Yes, I've seen a picture. I've seen the interviews where she's like, leave me alone.
She doesn't look at all like Amelia. I mean, Amelia would have had to have plastic surgery. And, I mean, she
She
doesn't.
could have. I don't know.
Where did they pull that name from?
Mom, where'd the gap teeth go? I mean, that was like her calling card. I mean, that is like a thing.
Uh, this was so wild.
I thought it was
But it
hilarious.
really happened. I mean, this woman was just pestered to death.
I thought it was hilarious.
It's like
It's horrible. It's not. Yeah, that's.
just leave me alone.
Can you imagine somebody comes up to you that you're her, you're Amelia Earhart. That's her. Hey, everybody in America, she's right here in New Jersey all
She's
along.
working in a bank.
This poor woman.
And she was an
Golly.
older woman too. She was just like, oh.
No, it's so wrong.
During World War II, there were several claims by Allied airman who reported seeing Earhart working as a nurse on Guadalcanal. But these could very possibly been hallucinations caused by malaria and other diseases, or they may have been talking about Nurse Marilyn Fairland, who closely resembled
Did
Earhart.
she? Oh,
So why not take her name?
why not go after this lady who actually looked like her, apparently? Oh my gosh.
Another really strange theory that came about the end of World War II,
Aliens? Oh, sorry.
and this is maybe one that you heard about, I don't know, was that
Oh, I've
Amelia,
heard them all, Mom. Give it to me.
obviously, was that Amelia, along with with other women, was a Tokyo Rose. Have you
Oh,
heard of that?
yes.
So this was a name given to English-speaking women broadcasters who tried to demoralize U.S. troops during World War II by spreading Japanese propaganda over the radio. Amelia's husband, George Putman, listened to hours of the recorded broadcasts and did not recognize his wife's voice in any of them. Well, no, maybe he knew what was going on, so he didn't have to listen to
He's
ours.
busy working on his script to
Uh,
clear his conscience.
okay, now this is one of the latest, perhaps. Um, Perhaps there's more out there, but this is the updated one that I saw, and it was in 2015. It was in the Hollow Earth magazine.
Mm-hmm.
The New Dimension blog wrote that Amelia and Fred had actually been saved by Argathons who lived inside the earth. These Argathons used their teleportation technology
Oh,
to prevent the plane from crashing into the ocean.
screw the documentary, guys.
And
This
that,
is
my friends, is why the plane and its occupants have never been found, because they are living in the center of the earth. I think that's solved.
solved.
Now, someone who knows a lot about Amelia Earhart is a man by the name of Chris Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
His obsession with her and the mystery of her disappearance began when in elementary school he did a history project on Earhart.
He and I have a lot in common.
And then later, while attending university, he wrote a dissertation on her. He and his wife Vanessa moved to Atchison, Kansas, and ran a ran a podcast and documentary series titled Chasing Earhart.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a podcast titled Vanished about Earhart's disappearance, and has written the book Rabbit Hole: The Vanishing of Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan. So I'm going to quote him as I close. Um, and this is his quote: "In a way, it doesn't really matter if the mystery is ever solved. Maybe it doesn't matter how she died. Maybe it only matters how she lived. She was telling women, you can be engineers, you can be scientists, you can be aviators, you can be mathematicians. You can do whatever you want to do." End of quote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I like that. Maybe it doesn't matter how she died. Maybe it only matters how she lived.
We always remember her as the one who vanished, but she did so
She
much.
did so much. I didn't know about the clothing line. I didn't know about any of that. It's just never told.
She did so much. And yeah, I mean, I think what clings is the mystery and the what ifs and all these different rabbit burrows that are out there. But I don't, I don't know. I still go to, I think she was on Saipan. Why she got there, what happened, I don't know, but I think there's just too much evidence that points that she was there.
And, people who find that that's not true or whatever, they say she didn't have enough fuel to get to the Marshall Islands. Well, maybe she did, though.
Mm,
You know,
yeah. I, we have no other tangible evidence. These are actual humans saying, I saw her, right? There's no other theory that has
again, with
any
nothing to
tangible.
gain. Nothing to
Exactly.
gain.
Exactly. None of these other theories have actual tangible evidence. No bones, no actual parts of the plane that you can actually say, yes, it says Electra right here. Like you have Nothing like that. Nothing.
No.
Freckle cream. Sure.
Well, maybe somebody on that ship used freckle cream. No?
And I just saw in my notes here that island was 6 to 8 feet above sea level. So that's a lot of like,
Land.
mm-hmm.
Coral.
Yes, and the water rising and falling. Like, I don't know. 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 I.
Just the things that make you go, I want to
Hmm.
look more into this.
Hmm. There are so many other theories. I
Oh,
would
there are.
love,
There's a ton of theories
please,
there.
please, please, either email us or just chat with us on our social media. I want to, if there another theory that
And I,
struck you that we didn't touch on, I know there are tons of other ones, hypothesis, whatever you want to call them, but what's one that stuck with you? Like, what's
mm-hmm.
something that has stuck with you? Because,
And to make you think that could have been.
yeah, yeah, it's, yeah. I don't know. There's an image floating around there. I don't know if it's tiger. I don't think it's the, I don't know what they did like a sonar of the ocean and they say they have a plane in, but nobody's gone down to look at it. Like there's all this. I don't know. I could keep going. You want me to keep going? I got many, many more.
Excuse me. There's so much out. There's so much out there. I actually picked and chose
Well, sure.
because it's
But there's things like I just said, the sonar and there's an image of a plane or there's, we found this and we're gonna do testing on that. And then there's no follow-up. Then there's like it's been 6 years since that sonar's been done, so there's no follow-up. So it's like,
or there's this picture with the two people in the plane, but has it been authenticated?
yeah, I
You
know.
know,
Oh, and don't you
it's
love to like every book that's done or every documentary that's done? It's like Amelia Earhart found, answer solved. It's like, heck yeah, here we go. And then
mm,
you leave with like 100 different more questions of like,
uh, uh,
thanks guys, you just found another rabbit burrow for me. Let's go.
and no, she hasn't been found. Yes.
One
So
day, I would hope in my lifetime we actually get some kind of real, maybe this documentary was it, but I would like to, I don't know, because we haven't found anything, that's what leads me to believe the documentary the most.
yeah, I mean, it would okay, not nice, but it would be good to find their burial place.
Sure.
Um, and
Because
not
if they were executed, as they said, and then buried, wouldn't their bodies still be there?
somebody's, yeah, I mean, the bones
I mean,
definitely. What
well, he supposedly was killed by a sword because that's what they did for men.
cut their heads off?
Yeah. You'd still be able to identify him, but I'm just saying that's what that witness said.
And not only to identify, but also give them peace.
Well, I know. I mean, for God's sake, Fred Noonan died too.
I know.
Everybody
Everyone
talks about Amelia
forgets
Earhart
about
because of the
Fred.
life she lived.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why. And
And
but
she was the celebrity.
of course, but he died too. Darn it! Or Fred, alcoholic or not.
Yeah. That's what I said on the way to Atchison. I'm like, dang, I feel sorry for Fred.
I
His name
feel
is
so
just never brought
Fred.
up.
Would you like a drink to cheers to?
You can finish it. No,
No,
there's
no one.
plenty. You can top
Oh,
me.
you have some. Oh, you have some.
Okay.
I can give you more. Do you want more? Mm. Okay, well, if you should I say this now or should I just say cheers, Mama?
Whatever you want to do.
I'll do that later. We can just do cheers, Mama, and then do that when the movie
Okay.
plays out. Right?
Well, this was totally fun because you were very enthusiastic about the subject.
I'm sorry. I hope I didn't annoy people. I know I annoyed Mom, but
You're just very passionate about this. I'm not into it as much as you are,
Ah,
quite honestly. The the documentary, we keep going back to the documentary, but it sucked me in. That sucked me in. And so I'm like, there's more to this than what I ever thought. But I've just never been drawn to the whole thing as much as you have. We'll get to some things where I'm going to be very passionate about.
no.
So
But when we went to the airfield to see her, the replica Electra, and you walk into the museum and they have an AI generated Amelia Earhart, and they have her standing, like you can
it's
sit at
so
these benches, and
creepy.
then Amelia Earhart is literally standing there, wringing her hands, kind of rocking and rocking on her heels. She had a plane behind her, and they have like almost a cathedral-like setting of mirrors around the AI of her. And then when you sit down, she's like, "Oh, hello.
No. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me.
I'm Amelia Earhart." And she's sharing her story, but in like a very personal way. Like it's
It's just so
so real and creepy.
it's kind of
And
creepy.
mom's like, "I'm gonna go use the bathroom." And I'm like, "You're gonna leave me alone with Amelia Earhart?"
And that plane?
Yeah, exactly. I got a plane at this window looking in at me. I'm like covered in goose, I'm covered in chicken bumps. And then this Amelia is looking at me,
Talking.
talking, and all I can focus on is this huge gap in her teeth.
And
And
this
why is she talking like that?
and this weird speech pattern. It was just like,
That's how they talked back then.
yeah, but it was
And
like
then
a
did you hear the
southern
guy?
drawl or
Did you hear the
something.
guy that was there with his dad? And he's like, "Why the heck did they talk like this back then?" It's like those old radio people, you know? Like
And it wasn't, I know she went to different places and she lived in different places, but you know, it wasn't a Kansas draw at all, which totally threw
it
me
was like
off.
it was like a 30s draw. So it was like how those,
A southern 30 draw. It was
but
just
it was
weird.
weird. It was they talked weird back then.
Okay, I do have to add this.
Oh, not
Atchison
me this time, guys.
every Atchison every year has an Amelia Earhart celebration, which
Amelia
it's
Days
yeah, it's
in
so
July
much fun.
every summer. They
It's
do
around it's
fireworks,
around the 21st of July, which
which
is my college
oh my gosh,
friend's
is it
birthday.
her birthday? I think it's her birthday. I can pull up my notes
Okay.
and see.
Um it's a lot of fun. It's a big celebration. They have flyers come in and then they do all these cool air show things. And
Mm-hmm.
I went one year to, and they have these great um, symposiums where speakers
Yeah.
come up and it's very interesting. When I went, there was a lady who spoke and she's a wing walker.
Oh gosh, what a freak.
I mean, I'm just
That's
listening, fascinating to this woman. There's very few people that do this and not very many women, that's for sure. They, as the plane is up in the air flying, they
nope.
walk on the wings.
Nope. Yeah, it's her birthday is July 24th, so that's
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
why.
So anyway, there's always really interesting talks going on that you can sit on. It
It's all
doesn't
weekend. It's a
doesn't
big party. It's
cost
so fun.
anything. It's a lot of fun. Plus Atchison. Yeah. I always like to visit.
Oh my gosh. And we can give you the list of haunted houses you have to go to.
It's yeah, it's big. They have bands. They have yeah, it's a big thing. I don't go out at night anymore to the band. It's very there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people
Yeah,
that
a
come
big
down there.
thing. It's a big deal.
So anyway, had to add that.
I mean, everything is. We drove by the sanitation department that's like called Earhart something. I mean, they
The
even
water,
named
yeah.
the water facility there, whatever. I mean, they even, yeah, the
Riding on that
name,
old Amelia name.
the name is everywhere, everywhere.
Oh, oh, sweetheart, this was fun. Did we already
This,
cheer?
no, wow, Saki. No, this was fantastic. This is probably my favorite episode yet. And this is like probably when most people are just like, I am so done with Beth. I am Sorry, Bettina. You lost a listener. She is.
You're passionate.
Thank you.
I love it.
Well, cheers, Mama.
Cheers. I love you, kid.
This has been Killer Hangover Podcast, an original production, written, produced, and designed by yours truly. All of our amazing music that always sends shivers down my spine was thoughtfully crafted by Dangerous Schmidt. And the other thing that gives me those chicken bumps, as we say, is you guys. Big love and huge thanks to all of our listeners. You truly make these hangovers possible. If you liked the episode, do us a favor. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. If you want to get in touch, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Killer Hangover Podcast, or shoot us an email at killerhangoverpodcast@gmail.com. Until next time, stay safe, lock your doors, drink some water for that hangover, and call your mom.